Hello, guys. Cowboy Star here, coming back at you. That's right, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys on this NFL Draft Night 2023. In case you've been living up underneath a rock, the NFL Draft is tonight, folks. Starts at 7 o'clock. You can watch it on ESPN, NFL Network, any sports station probably is going to carry it. It's going to be interesting to see who the Cowboys go with at pick number 26. Do they stay at 26? There's three options. They can stay at 26, they can move up, or they can move down and get more picks. So it's interesting. I love the first round of the draft. It's my favorite day of the draft. Usually it's on Thursdays. The first and second day are the most interesting day, but most of all, I love that first round because there's a whole bunch of good players in the draft this year. Especially there's a good tight end crop, there's a good running back crop, and a decent quarterback crop. And there's a lot of good defensive ends and offensive linemen in this draft. So the Cowboys, they could go a variety of different ways. Uh, Jerry Jones made mention of how they could just stay where they're at, but you know, I got a feeling they're setting us up. They've been talking about getting a tight end, which we lost Dalton Schultz in free agency, but we still have the two rookies, Hendershot and Ferguson, that were rookies last year. But to me, I don't know if I would go with a tight end in the first round because you have these other two tight ends in the fold, but they're talking like they want a big time tight end. The two top tight ends in the draft this year are one Dalton Kincaid, he's a tight end out of Utah, and Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. Kincaid is ranked a little bit higher than Mayer, but they're both good prospects. Uh, Remains to be seen if the Cowboys, if one of those guys are there. I got a feeling Kincaid is probably not going to be there. Uh, Mayer may make it to 26. I don't know. And there is a couple of other good tight ends if both of those are off the board. There's a tight end by the name of Darnell Washington. He's probably the biggest tight end out there, out of Georgia that the Cowboys could go with. And the next guy I have ranked number 4 is Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa, who's also a good prospect. But the Cowboys are talking it up about a tight end, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But it's kind of like where the board falls. You know, if there's a better player that's ranked higher on their board other than tight end, they'll take him. You know, that the Cowboys are notorious for taking the best player available on the board. Just like when C.D. Lamb was there, they weren't a couple of years ago. They weren't in the market to draft a wide receiver in the first round. But I mean, when a player like C.D. Lamb falls in your lap, I mean, you're not going to pass that up. And the Eagles were picking next after us that year, and we sure wasn't going to let the Eagles get C.D. Lamb. So my hope, and it's a long shot, is that Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas, the stud out of Texas, falls to 26 somehow, some way. Don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. C.D. Lamb fell, and we didn't think he was going to fall that far. But I can promise you this, if Bijan Robinson falls to 26 and the Cowboys don't have to trade up or anything, they will select Bijan Robinson. I mean, you just can't let him go by a talent like that, go by and let the Eagles take him. So, or even the Giants or the Commanders. So, remains to be seen what goes on. It's going to be interesting to say the least. I would like to remind y'all to be sure and subscribe to Cowboy Star. I sure do appreciate all those who already have. A couple of other players that the Cowboys could look at in the first round are Miles Murphy is an edge rusher out of Clemson. I already talked about Darnell Washington, tight end out of Georgia. Steve Avila, who is probably the top offensive lineman out of TCU, would be a good selection. Quentin Johnson, he's a wide receiver out of TCU. Can't see the Cowboys going wide receiver, but you never know in the first round. It all boils down to who's the best player available. Uh, Kendre Miller is a running back out of TCU. I think they might, if he should be available in round 3. And Sam Laporta should be available, the tight end I spoke of. He should still be available in the second round at 52. So keep that in the back of your mind. But Kendre Miller, he had a 6.2 average. He had 1,399 yards last year and 17 touchdowns in 2022. So he wasn't no slouch either compared to Bijan Robinson. He's not as good as Bijan, but he's still pretty good back if you didn't want to spend a first round pick on a running back. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting affair to see what the Cowboys are going to do. Will McClay, he's an expert. He does a real good job on draft day with these draft picks. They do a lot of research and they do their due diligence on these players, checking their backgrounds and what kind of integrity they have in personal life, and all that. And they'll pick the best player that fits their needs. And that's what you have to do. You have to go with your draft board, the board that you have up already, the top 10 players they probably have on that draft board. They'll mark them off as they get selected. 26 is a long ways to wait. So I can promise you this, if Bijan is still around at 15 or 16, look for the Cowboys to make a few phone calls to try to move up, to try to snag him. Don't think he's going to be around that late. I think the Eagles could take him at 10. I hope they don't, but somebody said the other day that Bijan wanted to play with Jalen, the quarterback of the Eagles, Jalen Hurts. I hope that's just a rumor, because that would be a formidable foe. The Eagles would even be harder to beat with Bijan on their team. But that's pretty much all I got. I'm going to get ready to go watch the draft. I just wanted to get on here real quick and throw a few prospects at you. Be sure to leave a comment and let me know who you think the Cowboys will select at 26. And with that being said, if anything else breaks after the draft tonight, we'll get back with you on here. Talk to you later. I'm out.